When I first bought this house in the fall of 2020, it was very ugly and actually smelled really bad because it was being used by squatters and there were animals living under the front porch. And anyways, it was pretty much just falling apart. The windows were in terrible condition. There was a lot that needed to be done. And so far on this house, I have gutted and remodeled both the kitchen and the bathroom. I had a privacy fence installed. I replaced all of the windows. I waterproofed my basement and I did my sunroom. And this living room here was not a priority because, as you can see, it's functional and there wasn't any like severe structural damage. So I had to put it on hold. But I finally got to do it, and just wait until you see the results. The first step was removing all of the furniture and then gutting everything. I wanted to rip off these horrible wall panels. Some people said just paint them. They were not in good enough condition to paint, so I had them all ripped out. My roommate did most of the work. He's a heck of a guy. And we really should have worn masks because it stirred up a ton of dust, and I didn't know that was going to happen. But I was pleasantly surprised to see that underneath, all of the plaster was still intact. In fact, there wasn't much structural damage at all, just a crack in the ceiling, which was going to need to be repaired around the light fixtures, but all of the plaster under the walls was intact. And I just had to gut the whole thing, remove the ceiling fan, the light fixture, trying to figure out what to do with this space. And then there was the flooring, which is this very cheap linoleum. I posted an ad on Facebook Marketplace for people to take it for free. And you'd be surprised, people love free stuff. But this is what it looked like underneath all of the flooring and after ripping out those wall panels. And the dog was there to observe. The gutting process is usually the easiest step in the remodel, but it's also the messiest. If you ever remodel and you're ripping things out of the walls, put on a mask. Like, both of us had respiratory problems. Here I scared my roommate. He didn't know I was coming home, and I caught him doing all the work. So like I said, I put them outside and I put a free ad, and it's crazy what people will take. All of it was gone, so I didn't have to rent a dumpster, which was really nice. And this is what the walls look like underneath the wall panels. Like the plaster, I thought it would be crumbling and falling apart like it was in my kitchen. The only structural damage was this hallway floor where water had been leaking from the bathroom. So my contractor came and repaired that first so that it would be safe, and that was the only plywood I needed because the rest of these floors were in really good shape, and so were the walls. So instead of doing drywall, my contractor suggested we just repair the plaster in any places that it needed and then just do a few coats of plaster over the top. It was a long process, but he's a professional and he knew what he was doing, and I thought we would do drywall, but I absolutely trust his advice, and he said, nope, we're gonna do it this way. And I'm glad he did. So he had to do several coats. He had to repair and patch certain places first, and then several coats of plaster before anything could be painted. In the other rooms that I remodeled, the plaster was not in good condition like this. It was literally crumbling out in large pieces. And I really don't like the lath and plaster, but considering that it was in shape, I decided I did not want to have to dispose of all of it. This was just the easier way. So after he did all the sides and the corners and got all of the cracks filled and also repaired the ceiling, he retextured the ceiling, and then it's time to paint. So I picked out a paint color that was very light and very neutral because I wanted to put art all over my walls. And then I hired another friend to come do all of the painting. I hired a good friend who does commercial painting for a living, and she did an excellent job, and it looks so good. Once you get to the step of painting, it's like, oh my gosh, we're getting so close, it's almost done. Like, it's starting to look like a room again. And let me tell you, it is not fun living in a construction zone. So after the painting, we were able to install the flooring. My roommate did a lot of it, and I was able to do some of it. I I'm all about doing things yourself, but I wanted my living room to look good, which is why I hired friends to do most of the work because I know myself and I just know that I'm not going to do a very good job. But let me tell you about these tongue and groove flooring. Like, originally when I first got the house, I wanted to sand and stain the original floors, and I'm so glad my friends talked me out of it because that would have been a nightmare. And these tongue and groove floor panels are just so nice. They're so easy to clean, they're very durable, they're super easy to install, like just about anybody could do it. Part of the flooring I did the hard way because I had it staggered throughout the house, but my contractor knew what he was doing and he helped me and my roommate do a better job. The flooring was by far the most expensive part of this project. It cost me about $1,500 to get enough flooring for this space because it's a fairly large space. I forget how many square feet. But once we got all the flooring installed, my contractor was able to do the trim around the floor and also around the bathroom door because I have this tiny hallway that also needed to be done. And from there, it was just a matter of painting the trim. I wanted everything to be very light in color to make the space seem a lot bigger. So very light, kind of gray-blue on the walls, white for the window trim, and the baseboards along the floor. And look at this finished paint job. Oh, it looks so good. It was like being in a winter wonderland. Everything was so bright and so clean. I'm so glad I ripped off the wall panels. So after that, we were able to start putting furniture away, and the last step was to install the new ceiling fan and also my new light fixture, which was gifted to me by my realtor. It fits perfectly with my mid-century modern style. And I have myself a little book nook up above the entryway into the kitchen. And the most fun part of any project is decorating. So because this isn't drywall, I couldn't go drilling into the holes, so I had to use these like kind of stick-in-place items to hang stuff on the walls, and I wanted to cover my wall with a lot of local art and other things, which is why I chose these super neutral colors for the walls. And the end result, I think, looks pretty good. Last thing I needed help with was hanging this wall shelf because I wanted it to be secure so I could put books on it, and just check out these before and after pictures. I am just beyond thrilled with my new living room. I think it looks absolutely amazing, and a big thank you to Biff, Julie, and Harrison for all of your hard work. Thanks for watching.